Probably the most easily missed scenes in Shenmue are those with Nozomi and Ryu's friends Naoyuki and Ichiro. While I was researching another video and finding all of Shenmue's major missables, which is linked in the description, it was 3 scenes that saw the most confusion from players trying to unlock them, which is why I wanted to delve into them further in a separate video. I'm going to explain how to unlock all 3 scenes, as well as some thoughts as to why they might be so easily missed. The first one is Nozomi's confession. This is particularly notable because it's one of the few times the house phone will ring. If you pick up the phone, a cutscene will play, and Ryo will meet Nozomi in Sagura-gyoka Park. The requirements for Nozomi's confession are actually quite simple. You must have reached the point in the story where you can get the Chinese letter, but not have yet collected the Sword Handguard. You must also be in the Hazuki residence after 7 PM. There is also one other factor, and that's the phone. This is one reason why it's so easily missed, because every time I tested this scene, it would ring at a slightly different time. Sometimes it would ring as soon as Ryo kicked his shoes off, while in others it would require exploring the house a little first. My recommendation, walk up and down the corridor and past the phone until it starts ringing. If it doesn't ring, or it rings but you don't reach the phone in time, then try again another evening, provided you haven't collected the Sword Handguard yet. This means, though it's a little tricky to initiate, there is some flexibility here. Next, let's discuss the scene with Naoyuki and Ichiro. This has the same window of availability as Nozomi's confession, which is between collecting the Chinese letter and Sword Handguard. However, it has 2 additional requirements. 1, you must have seen Nozomi's confession first, and 2, you must have visited the harbour at least once. From there, the scene can actually play out in one of 2 ways. After 7 PM, you can either visit Bar Yokozuka or return to the Hazuki residence. Though the scene with Naoyuki and Ichiro itself doesn't change, the way Fukusan first greets you does, as if you visit the bar, it's hinted that Fukusan has an interest in Akemi.
Did she say anything about me?
This is also a cutscene with some flexibility. The scene can be unlocked in any evening before collecting the Sword Handguard. So, with all this in mind, why are these scenes so easily missed? My best guess is during the window they are available, there is one big story event that means you're less likely to be at home in the evening, and that is visiting the harbour. Let's break down the sequence of events quickly. Once you get the Chinese letter, you'll be at the harbour the same day, then breaking into the old warehouse district that evening. Then, the next day, you'll likely collect the Sword Handguard during the day, meaning at any point you won't be home after 7 PM, so you'll miss both scenes entirely. Throw in the temperamental nature of the house phone, and we now have several reasons why these scenes are so easily missed. So what about the other scene in this list, Nozomi's tears? Well, this has the most straightforward requirements of them all, and that's to have the in-game date be past December 26th, and to visit Sagura-gyoka Park after 7 PM. The reason why this is so easily missed is quite simple. It's because most players will complete Shenmue before the date in the game takes place. In fact, once you reach December 26th, it's actually quite hard to miss Nozomi's tears. You only need to walk close to the park in the evenings for it to activate, and it will also start automatically if you're out past curfew, with the scene playing as Ryo makes his way home, which is something I actually discovered by accident. The reason why I've included this scene with the others is, not only is it thematically linked with the other Nozomi cutscene, but there's some speculation you need to have seen Nozomi's confession first before Nozomi's tears will work. With some testing I managed to debunk this, and in fact if you wanted to, you could line it up so you could watch Nozomi's tears or Nozomi's confession in the same evening, proving that these are 2 independent cutscenes. There's also another rumoured requirement, and that is having to meet Nozomi's friend, Eri, first, who hangs outside the U Arcade during the evenings and mentions Nozomi's upset and you should go talk with her. This seemed plausible as a requirement, but to confirm it either way, I started a brand new save file and purposely avoided Eri, then used the old warehouse district date skip to get to December 26th to confirm, and it turns out it's not required after all. In summary, only the date is needed, and despite the logic that tears and confession are linked, they are actually 2 independent events. One final quick observation before we wrap up. We know the Naoyuki and Ichiro scene requires you to visit the harbour at least once before it can be unlocked, and that's likely because the cutscene data was only in Disc 2 in the Dreamcast original, perhaps in the same way that the third Inoki scene can only be seen before you visit the harbour, suggesting that is only on Disc 1. However, what about Nozomi's tears, the event whose only requirement is to be past December 26th? Since this isn't tied to any story progress, could you view it on Disc 1 if you wanted to? I didn't test this myself, as I'll be honest it would have taken far too long without the date skip trick to check, but I found someone on the Shenmue Dojo forum saying they did manage it, and based on everything we know about these scenes, if you wanted to take your time on Disc 1 and see Nozomi's tears early, you probably can. So that's how to unlock Shenmue's various cutscenes. If you don't fancy doing the legwork, then the rest of this video shows all 3 cutscenes back to back. This video took a lot of research and testing, so if you found anything useful or interesting, I'd appreciate a like or a comment, or sharing it with a fellow Shenmue fan who might also enjoy it. And as previously mentioned, if you want to make sure you don't miss any of these scenes, or any other easily missed items, I have a video dedicated to Shenmue's major missables, which you might find perfect for your next playthrough. Until then, enjoy watching all 3 cutscenes.
Hello?
Ryo,
Nozomi, what's up?
I want to talk to you about something. Can we meet?
Yeah.
At Sakuragaoka Park? I'll be waiting.
Alright.
Ryo,
Nozomi, what's the matter?
sorry to call you out.
It's okay.
I had to talk with you alone. But with all the problems you've been having,
Is it so important?
for me, yes. Do you have time to talk?
Yes, but I can't stay long.
I know. You see, I'd wanted to wait until things settled down before I told you. But I can't wait any longer. I just can't hold it in. I'm sorry.
Nozomi,
It's about my feelings for you, but if I don't tell you now, I feel like I'll miss my chance to...
has something happened?
Last night, my mom called from Canada. My father is insisting that I return.
So you're leaving soon?
I don't know when, but I can't go without letting you know how I feel.
I know.
Huh?
But right now, I don't really know how I feel.
I understand. When you're ready, tell me.
I will.
I'm sorry I called you out.
Nozomi, don't forget to say goodbye.
Hmm.
See you.
Hello there. Hi, Ryo. Fuku-san called here for you. Maybe he's looking for you.
That was just an excuse to talk to Akemi.
Get out. It's not like that. I've had it with men.
Quit lying, girl.
So, what did Fuku-san want?
Oh yeah, he said friends of yours are waiting at your house.
Probably Naoyuki. I'm on my way. I need to get home. I'm back.
Good. Naoyuki and Ichiro are here to see you.
Really?
And,
What?
Akemi from Yokosuka Bar. Did she say anything about me?
No, nothing.
Oh, really?
I'm back.
Good. Naoyuki and Ichiro are here to see you.
My friends? Yo,
Don't yo me. What's with you, man?
what are you talking about?
You.
Fukusan is worried about you, man.
He said to check up on you.
Everything is cool. We know you like to do things alone.
But we're old friends.
I know. But I really am okay.
Well, you do seem better than I thought.
If you get in trouble, let us know. Okay, I will.
Seriously, don't forget.
Okay.
Later.
See ya. Nozomi?
Oh, Ryo.
What's wrong?
Nothing.
Are you crying?
No. I'm so embarrassed.
Problem with your mom?
Yes. She'll stay here, but she says I have to go there.
I see.
It's her family home. She's worried about Grandma, so she's staying.
You don't want to be with your father?
It's not that. I don't want to be away from you. Please, just for a while, stay with me. Christmas is already over.
Yeah.
We didn't get to celebrate together.
Yeah.
I'd so wanted to spend Christmas Eve with you.
Nozomi?
Stay with me for a while.
Yeah.
I wish time would just stand still.